I declare the 62nd annual convocation of XLRI open. We will have the prayer song. I now call upon Father Abraham, the director, to present his report.
Mr. T.V. Narendra, Chairman, XLRI Board of Governors, and CEO and MD Tata Steel. Mr. Mohandas Pai, Chairman, Manipal Global Education, and Chief Guest of the Convocation and the recipient of this year's Sir Jahanvi Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace. Dr. Ashish Pani, Dean Academic, Father Jaram Pujina, Dean Administration and Finance, members of the Board of Governors, Dr. and Mrs. Irani, Mrs. Kusum Pai, Senior Executives of Tata Steel and various companies at Jamshedpur, faculty, staff, graduates of the class of 2018, parents and relatives of the graduating class, present students, alumni, distinguished guests, members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all of you. I sincerely thank you for your presence here this evening. We are extremely privileged to have as our chief guest Mr. Mohandas Pai, who likes to be called Mohan, an extremely accomplished professional, influential startup evangelist, notable philanthropist, educationist, and chairman of Mangala Global Foundation. Mohan is the founder, partner, and member of the Advisory Council of Xfinity Venture Partners Limited, LLC. He is a partner, managing director, and chairman of Untitled Chapter. He has been co-founder of the firm. He is the founder and partner of Startup Ventures LLC. He serves as the chief advisor to the Manipal Education and Medical Group. He is a general partner and advisor to Ideas Spring Capital. He also serves as an advisor at InGovern Research Services Private Limited. He is actively engaged with the central and state governments in the fields of education, information technology, and business. I came across a very interesting story online about his rise. Going by the views of his parents and teachers, early childhood of Mohandas never indicated any hints of what he was going to become today. And a small investment is what changed his life forever. Let us rewind to 1992. Mohan was a young finance professional working with Prakash Leasing in Bangalore. It had been almost 7 years working with them.
And decided to take a look, given that he was someone who crunched company balance sheets for breakfast and had collected about 4,000 of them as a fancy. He went to the Infosys pre-IPO investor meet and in the meeting of analysts in Mumbai. He went on to ask some deep and searching questions that even put the best of them to thought. Given the knowledge he held, Mr. Narayana Murthy
and Infosys co-founder Nandan Nilekani then decided to get Mohandas on their side and got him to join Infosys as a consultant. Eventually, he then joined the company full-time as a board member and head administration, education, research, finance, human resources, infrastructure, Finacle and platform groups, business units, and Infosys Leadership Institute. He was also the chairman of the board of Infosys BPO. On his post-Infosys plans, he said that he would be spending 30% of his time on promoting higher education, 30% sitting on the board of companies, and the rest with his family. He always believed that wealth is something given by God that we may give ahead and not hold on and pass it on to our children. All the people who have made money need to give something back to society. The power of wealth is the power to give it away. And he remained stuck to his words. From here onwards, the journey of an investor and philanthropist started. Thank you, Mohan, for accepting our invitation to be with us this evening and deliver the convocation address. Congratulations to our 524 students who are graduating today. Your brilliant accomplishments would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of your parents, family, friends, and sponsors who sit proudly in our audience today. My heartfelt appreciation to all the faculty and staff of XLRI for assisting you on your journey and for making XLRI a place of excellence and integrity. I place on record my gratitude to the chairman, Mr. Narendran, and members of the governing board for their valuable guidance. Dr. Ashish Pani, the Dean Academics and Secretary of the Board, Father Jerome Kutina, the Dean Administration and Finance, and the Associate Deans, Dr. Pitapas Mohanty, Dr. Ramkumar Kakani, Father Tony Uveri, Dr. M.T. Jomon, Dr. Shantanu Sarkar. All the chairpersons of various activities like admissions, placement, MDP, alumni, international relations and public relations, and centers, area chairpersons, faculty and staff and maintenance staff, and students for all their cooperation and unstinted support. I want to specially mention the contribution made by our students under the leadership of Jocelyn Fernandez, General Secretary, Jeevan Raghu, Principal Secretary, Placement, Nimish Bajpai, Principal Secretary, Academic Affairs, Kartikeya Chaturvedi, Co-Curricular Activities, and Suyash Jaiswal, Principal Secretary, Extracurricular Activities. Before I go on, I want to thank two people, Father Jerry Kutina and Lawrence Kunj, for making this into a practically a new auditorium. It was really a touch and go today, so I like to. There was a whole team of them working day and night to make it happen. As in the past, we have prepared the convocation brochure meticulously put together by Sunil Varghese, Anuja, Sandra, Anjali, and supported by all the departments. In the interest of time, I shall be mentioning only select excerpts from this convocation souvenir. You can collect one of these as you leave. I want to share with you some of our achievements, starting with students. Michelle Obama has said, the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them. Our students have won numerous competitions this year and done us proud. I would like to mention a few. Mohit Agarwal was the runner-up at the Business Standard Best Preschool Project Award 2007. Anu Man won the International 3M Invent a New Future Challenge. Kaustubh Salkar, Nachiket Kulkarni, Pratik Mahapatra won the International Amazing ACE Challenge. Alok Sheth is a national winner for CRISIL, Young Thought Leader, and ETYL by Aditya Birla Group. Sudhakar Joshi is a national winner of the Amex Expedition Challenge. Devan Sachideva won the CXO Next by shopclues.com. Jay Kanakia, Aditya Ganguly, and Sonal Singh were the national winners of HUL IT Reboot. Changes in the board. We welcome our esteemed members who have joined XLRI board in the year 2017-18. Father Arun D'Souza, SJ, President Bombay Jesuit Society, and Father P.S. Amalraj, SJ, President Andhra Jesuit Society. While we welcome the new members who have joined the board, I sincerely thank Father C.L. George, SJ, and Father S. George, who have made invaluable contribution to the deliberation of the board in the past several years. Mr. N. Mohan, who has joined us as head IT services, we welcome him. XLRI has been consistently ranked as #1 private business school in the country and among the top 3 or 4 overall. Expansion work is progressing well in our campuses in Jajjar. We hope to start classes in Jajjar campus next year. Land has been acquired in Mumbai and Amravati for future expansion. Faculty joined 4 new faculty members have joined our team this year. Dr. Paramjot Singh, Dr. Jatinder Kumar Jha, Dr. Kalyan Bhaskar, and Father Nelson Ashok De Silva. Dr. ISF Iridheraj and Professor Prabal Sen have retired after serving considerable number of years with us. Father S. George is working in Xavier Institute of Management and Entrepreneurship, Chennai, as his director. Admissions. In keeping with the times, Xavier aptitude test was migrated to its testing format and was conducted online on 7th January 2018. The online exam was conducted all over India in 47 cities and 2 international cities. In India, we had 314 centers. The online test was conducted by SIFI. 30% of the candidates were female and 50% of candidates were from non-engineering background. It is our endeavor to reach out to as many variety of candidates as possible. My special thanks to Father Tony Uveri, Chairperson of Admissions, and his team of faculty and staff to ensure smooth transition to online test format. Reaching the end of a job interview, the HR officer asked a young engineer fresh out of school about his salary expectations. The engineer replies, in the region of 40 lakhs per year, depending on the benefit and depending on the benefits package. The interviewer inquires, well, what would you say to a package of 5 weeks vacation, 14 paid holidays, full medical and dental, company matching retirement fund to 50% of the salary, and a company car leased every 2 years, say a black Mercedes Benz? The engineer sits up straight and exclaims, says, wow, are you kidding? The interviewer replies, yeah, you started it. Summer internship. We moved the bar a bit higher this year after we completed our summer internship placement process of 2017 in just 2 days. The batch of 2017-19, consisting of 364 students, achieved 100% placement, with the median and average stipend increasing by 20%, with the highest stipend being rupees 5 lakhs for 2 months. Final placement, again continuing with the legacy of providing decent placement for its students, XLRI concluded the placement 2018 for its flagship program, both HRM and BM, with all 358 candidates securing offers through the final recruitment process in just 3.5 days. Final recruitment process at XLRI also saw more pre-placement offers being made by the recruiters. The rising trend in number of PPOs underlines the fact that the students from XLRI are consistently proving their mettle in the industry year after year. My special thanks to Professor Udaya Damodaran, Chairperson of Placement, and his team of faculty and the Placement Student Committee for doing an excellent job through their commitment and hard work. As of now, we have 16,000 alumni working and serving in organizations all over the world. The Institute strengthens its alumni network through major events, and it organizes throughout the year and other activities which the alumni organizes around the country and abroad. Few activities include summer meets, annual homecoming and distinguished alumni award, silver jubilee reunion, and other activities by alumni chapter, national as well as international. Details again given in the brochure, Convocation brochure. Endowment fund by XLRI alumni. We have so far the total contribution till February is over 6.5 crores. We wish to acknowledge the contribution made by alumns towards XLRI Endowment Fund. A new education fund has been established in the name of Father McGrath, who passed away last year. A coffee table book, this was established by the alumni. A coffee table book on Father McGrath was printed with contribution from many alumni, and the sale proceedings would go to this fund. This fund will be used for scholarships for deserving children from Jharkhand and Orissa, where Father McGrath has worked. Green Campus. Thomas Edison had said, "I would put my money on the sun and solar energy." What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until oil and coal run out before we tackle that. XLRI is aiming at a carbon neutral campus by 2020. We started out with a small initiative such as biogas plant and bicycles for students to commute on campus. XLRI is now on to bigger initiatives. We have now installed solar panels on the rooftops of LC1 and LC2, which will soon generate 14.5% of the total power consumption on campus. A special thanks to Father Nelson and his team, who has been monitoring these efforts to go green. Faculty research and publication. During the academic year under review, I am proud to report a burst of research and scholarly activities, a sure sign of our faculty's increased competencies and experience. 3 books, publications in 49 international and 8 national journals, 3 book chapters, 22 cases, 41 working papers, participation in paper presentation in 41 international conferences and 21 national conferences. I'm very happy that our research and publication continue to be acknowledged worldwide. And this year too, we have brought out the publication of all the researches that we have done this year. J.R.D. Tata Oration. The 26th J.R.D. Tata Oration on Business Ethics was held in November 29, 2017, as it marked the 25th death anniversary of Mr. J.R.D. Tata. This year, the ethics oration was delivered by Dr. J.J. Rani, former chairman of XLRI and MD of Tata Steel, on the topic, My Experience with J.R.D. and His Principles, which was very informative and enthralling indeed. To mark the joyous accomplishment of 25 years of J.R.D. ethics oration, we released a book edited by Fathers Ozzy, Sister Doris, and Father Abraham, which is an anthology of all the brilliant orations delivered by esteemed orators, beginning with J.R.D. Tata himself. The 4th Varghese Kurian Memorial Oration was held at XLRI on September 23, 2017. Dr. Ashok Khosla, founder and board member of Development Alternatives Group, delivered the oration on the topic, The Machine Revolution, Fulfilling the Aspirations of Rural India. MDPs and in-company programs. We organized 56 MDPs for 686 participants from 357 companies, including 67 participants from countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Thailand, Japan, UAE, and USA, Qatar, and South Africa. We also organized 115 in-company programs for 3,789 participants during the past year. Virtual interactive learning. The accomplishment of VIL during the academic year include 15th VIL graduation ceremony, which was held on 8th April last year. Mr. Kishore Jayaraman, President of Rolls-Royce India and South Asia, graced the occasion as the chief guest of the ceremony. Nearly 600 students were bestowed with certificates. Since its inception, Over 6,500 students have graduated from the various postgraduate certificate courses conducted under the aegis of VIL. We offered 17 EMDPs with over 2,700 participants, including some from faraway regions such as USA and the Middle East. Web portal virtual placement notice board was further enhanced. It facilitated discussion between corporates and students. About 60 companies are registered and over 120 job postings have been floated on this portal. Now little monkey business. A group of scientists placed 5 monkeys in a cage and in the middle a ladder with bananas on top. Every time a monkey went up the ladder, the scientists soaked the rest of the monkeys with cold water. After a while, every time a monkey went up the ladder, the other ones beat him up, the one on the ladder. After some time, no monkey dared to go up the ladder regardless of temptation. Scientists then decided to substitute one of the monkeys. The first thing the new monkey did was to go up the ladder. Immediately, the other monkeys beat him up. After several beatings, the new monkey learned not to climb the ladder, even though never knowing why. A second monkey was substituted, and the same result occurred. The first monkey participated in the beating of the second monkey. The third monkey was substituted, and the same thing was repeated. Fourth was the same, and finally a fifth monkey was replaced. What was left was a group of 5 monkeys that, even though they never received a cold shower, continued to beat up any monkey who attempted to climb the ladder. If it was possible to ask the monkeys why they would beat up all those who attempted to go up the ladder, I bet their answer would be, I don't know. That's how things are done around here. Ask for yourself, while you continue doing what you do now, is this the only way this has to be done? Or is there any different way out there? Student activities. In addition to our emphasis on having students fulfill their academic potential, we also strive towards integral formation, whereby students are encouraged to nurture their emotional, spiritual, and social persona to evolve as well-rounded human beings, furthering greater common good. The emphasis is on fair play, enthusiasm, enjoyment, as well as achievement. All these are being achieved through extracurricular and sporting activities, towards which most of the students have put in a lot of effort. Some of them are Ensemble Valhalla, XLRI, Maxifair, Synergy, Excel Utsav, Disha Samarthya, Finax Town Hall, and Joy of Giving. To conclude, I found this analogy interesting. You are holding up a cup of coffee when someone comes along and bumps into you or shakes your arm, making you spill your coffee everywhere. Why did you spill the coffee? Well, because someone bumped into me, of course. Wrong answer. You spilled the coffee because there was coffee in your cup. Had there been tea in the cup, you would have spilled tea. Whatever is inside the cup is what will spill out. Therefore, when life comes along and shakes you, which will definitely happen, whatever is inside you will come out. It's easy to fake it until you get rattled. So we have to ask ourselves, what is in my cup? When life gets tough, what spills over? Joy, gratefulness, peace, and humility? Or anger, bitterness, harsh words, and reactions? You choose. Today, let's work towards filling our cups with gratitude, forgiveness, joy, words of affirmation for ourselves, and kindness, gentleness, and love for others. Wish you more positivity in your cup. May God bless you all. Thank you. I request our chairman, Mr. T.V. Narendran, to give his presidential address.
Our chief guest for the evening, Mr. Mohandas Pai, Father Abraham, Dr. Ashish Pani, Father Kutina, my fellow members of the Board of Governors, the students who are here today, the parents, the proud parents, members of the faculty, my own colleagues who are here, Dr. Rani, Mrs. Daisy Rani, Mrs. Kusum Pai, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, welcome to the 62nd annual convocation, and it's certainly a very important day for all the students who are passing out, as well as for the parents who are here to cheer them. It's also a very significant milestone in your lives, because the life ahead of you is going to be very different from the life so far. In many ways, your life so far is probably an outcome of a number of decisions taken by many people who were there to take decisions for you. It's also a time for you to be grateful to them for the support that they've given you, whether they're your parents, whether your siblings, whether it's a friend or a cousin or anybody else who's played an important role in your life. But it's also time to recognize that the life ahead of you is going to be an outcome of the decisions that you would take from now on. You would be accountable for that, and you would face the consequences in good ways or bad ways. But at the same time, I think all of you are passing out at a very, very exciting time for us in India and generally for the world. I was reflecting on my own time, like you, passing out of a management school. I passed out about 30 years back, and life was very different then, because China was not even on the horizon and India was struggling to make its ends meet. But in the last 30 years, China has dominated the narrative, and you are passing out at a time when 30 years later, if one of you is standing up and making a convocation speech, you can possibly talk about India dominating the economic narrative. So it's a great time to be young and to be in India. I think the opportunities are immense. And again, it is for us as a country and a nation to decide our destiny based on the decisions that we make. Having said that, it is also a time for us to reflect on what could go wrong and what are the issues which are dominating the discussions today. First and foremost, of course, there is the sense that the geopolitical environment is in a far riskier space than it has been in the recent past. I remember 30 years back when we passed out, that was not even a time of 24/7 television. It was in the early 90s when the Iraq war, the first one, happened, when many of us were exposed to CNN and Peter Arnett and his reporting on the war in Iraq. And that's when you really saw the impact of 24/7 television, and you saw a war in your drawing room in some sense of the term. But today the world has changed very significantly, and today it's the social media which is spreading news even faster. Whether the news is right or wrong is a separate matter, but news spreads much faster than it did even then. And obviously, it is also a time when things can go wrong as easily as reputations can be made and destroyed. So it is a time where the geopolitical environment, the geopolitical risks are high, also because of the situation that we have across the world. Last year, it was more of North Korea. This year, it's about the trade wars. And all of it has an impact on all of us because it's a very interconnected world. The stock markets in India over the last few days has demonstrated what can happen when a decision is made in Washington or in China. So that's the world we live in, and that's the world we have to get used to. The second point I want to make is the role of technology. Again, when we passed out 30 years back, computers were just about becoming popular in India. The IT industry had not yet come into the center of attention as it did since then. And I think the conversations then were about how computers were taking away jobs, and it was about how many jobs in many sectors were going to get impacted by computers. There was a lot of concern, there was a lot of fear. Obviously, many jobs were taken away by the computers, but there were many new jobs which were created, as the IT sector itself has demonstrated. Today, as you pass out, of course, the discussion is about artificial intelligence and what it can, how it can make an impact or how it can make a difference to your lives ahead. So there can be a pessimistic view that it's going to take away jobs. Certainly it will. It will take away some jobs. I heard somebody say somewhere that the only job which is guaranteed is that of a hairdresser. But it can also create more jobs. It can create many more opportunities. And today technology is not only connecting human beings to each other like never before, and hence creates a platform for ideas to be created and developed, it is also connecting machines to each other like never before. And even more importantly, the human-machine interface is also going through many different evolutionary changes. So all this creates tremendous opportunities, tremendous challenges, and I think the one constant is that all of us need to adapt, all of us need to keep changing, all of us need to keep making ourselves relevant for the context which is changing very rapidly. The third point I want to talk about is a little bit more of a social issue, but I think it does impact nations, it does impact countries, and that is of inequality. I think last year or year before when I spoke here, I mentioned that if you had 1.5 lakh rupees of net assets, you're better than 50% of the world, and this is from the Credit Suisse Wealth Report. So that is the level of inequality, because many of us in India think we are a poor country, but there are obviously many in India who certainly have 1.5 lakhs of net assets. I'm not talking of a bank balance. And if you're better off than 50% of the world, and then you can imagine the extent of inequality, and which also explains in some sense a lot of the political upheaval which is going on even in mature and ostensibly rich economies. So there is a disconnect between what is traditionally seen as the liberal educated elite and vast majority of people. I was reading an article the other day talking of the youth in Spain. You know, there are people there, I mean, I think about 20, it's much better now than it was maybe 2 years back. But even today, more than 25% of the youth are unemployed. Many of them have jobs maybe for 6 months and on a monthly salary of 300 euros. You know, and most of them obviously stay with their parents because that's the only thing that they can do. So it is not that in rich developed economies there is no problem, and I think that is getting reflected in many of the political outcomes which we are seeing today. And that if you connect with the kind of power of a social network and the power of the context of a very difficult or challenging geopolitical environment, it is obviously creating a situation where things can go wrong very rapidly. So this is a subject which I think business schools, corporates need to think about, because the role of a corporate, and corporates are getting bigger and more powerful. The largest corporates in the world have revenue streams which are much bigger than the GDPs of most countries. Many of them have profits which are more than the debts burden of most countries. So corporates cannot be cocooned and be insulated from what's happening in the world around us, and there is a need for corporates to understand that there are stakeholders beyond the shareholder, and obviously one needs to look at the community at large. And I think in Jamshedpur, in some sense of the term, there is a living example of something which has been going on for about 100 years. So there is a need for us as corporates to recognize this, do a bit for it, and there is a need for us as individuals as well, and all of you are passing out into a world which is going to face with these challenges going forward. So I think it's also about committing yourself to a purpose which is larger than the objectives that one would have when you pass out of a management school. And you're also passing out from a management school which says it is for the greater common good. And which brings me to my last point. As you pass out today, obviously all of you are deriving the benefit of the XLRI brand. This XLRI brand has been built by many generations of faculty, many generations of administrators, and many generations of alumni before you who've done the institute proud, some of whom are sitting here as part of the Board of Governors. So it is your responsibility as alumni, as you become alumni after today, to also think about over a long term, what is it that you are going to give back to the institute, because you will obviously, and you have obviously derived benefit from being from this institute. In many ways, the brand of the institute is built by your actions over the next few decades, and you can be brand ambassadors for the institutes. And one thing which we would expect is also that you would stay connected with the institute and see what you can do for the institute. But having said that, congratulations once again. It's been obviously a wonderful 2 years or 1 year, depending on the program that you attended for most of you. Do good, do yourself proud, and do the institute proud. Thank you very much. I now request Dr. Supriya Kumar De to read the citation for the Sir Jahangir Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace.
The Sir Jahangir Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace, awarded by XLRI, JBR School of Management, Jamshedpur, to T.V. Mohandas Pai. Citation. An extremely accomplished professional, influential startup evangelist, and a notable philanthropist, Mohandas Pai is the wearer of many hats. He is the chairman of Arin Capital, chairman of Manipal Global Education, president of IMA, and board member of many financial and educational institutions. He was awarded Padma Shri in 2015 and Karnataka Rajya Sabha Award in 2004. In 2000, he co-founded the Akshaya Patra Foundation, a midday meal program for school children. This program feeds over 1.6 million children each day in 13,500 plus government schools across 12 Indian states. Served as a member of the board and as CFO at Infosys, one of the India's largest software services companies. He was voted CFO of the year multiple times. He was elected as the best CFO in India by Asia Money 2004 and by Finance Asia 2002. Prime mover behind the launch of over 14 different private equity and venture capital investment vehicles. An investment committee member of the SIDBI India Aspiration Fund and the India Fund of Funds. Holds a bachelor's degree in law from Bangalore University and is also fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as an All India rank holder. In appreciation of his multidimensional accomplishments, XLRI is privileged to present the Sir Jahangir Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace to Mr. T.V. Mohandas Pai and to champion him as a role model of social impact innovation and responsible leadership to all our stakeholders. Given in Jamshedpur at the 62nd Convocation, this 24th day of March 2018, the 69th year of the founding of XLRI, signed by Father E. Abraham as the Director and T.V. Narendran, Chairman, Board of Governors.
Thank you, sir. I now request our chairman, Mr. Narendran, to hand over the Sir Jahangir Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace to Mr. T.V. Mohandas Pai.
I now call upon Mr. Mohandas Pai to give his convocation address.
Mr. T.V. Narendran, Chairman of XLRI, Father Abraham, Director, members of the Governing Board, members of the faculty, guests, graduating students, and ladies and gentlemen. First, please let me thank you all for inviting me to be here. I'm very grateful. This is a great institution which has changed the context in India, and to be called here to deliver the convocation address for the graduating batch is indeed a great honor. I'm very humbled by the award of the Sir Jahangir Gandhi Medal for Industrial and Social Peace, knowing well the achievements of Sir Jahangir Gandhi at a point in time when India was not much to write home about. He set the pace for creating a great company as the first Indian general manager of Tata Steel. Many of us have to look back at those times when India was growing, there was not much in this country, and those pioneers who built this company and the country as a result. I want to congratulate the graduating batch and to tell them that you are going to go out into the wide world at a time, in a time and point when India is going to go through the most exciting phase of growth in a long civilizational history. Our GDP today is $2.6 trillion, and by 2030, we expect to be around $10 trillion. The massive growth that's going to happen in the next 12, 13 years is something unprecedented in Indian history. So you're going to have an exciting career ahead of you. You're also going to have a very challenging time because in the next 3 to 4 years, we are going to witness an event last seen possibly around 1820, 1825. And that's the point in time when Europe overtook Asia to be the largest economy in the world. By 2020 or 2021, the emerging markets will be larger in GDP than the OECD. The OECD consisting of the United States, Japan, and the Western countries. And this shift in economic power is creating change and tension, as can be seen in the new trade wars that have just started between the United States and China. And when you go through a very turbulent pace globally and rapid change in India, which is also creating social issues across India, as people in many parts of the country are unable to adjust to the change and the rapidity of change, it is going to be a very, very exciting time. I want to deliver this address with a theme, Leadership in the Age of Disruption. What is the age of disruption? Let's go back into history. From the dawn of human history till around 1820, 1825, China, India made up the largest part of the global economy. And the reason was very clear. They had the largest population, and those days, everything done by human beings depended upon human muscle and animal power. That means the larger the country, the larger the number of artisans, the greater the wealth. And there was trade between the East and West to the Silk Route and through the sea by the Arabs. The Arabs were the intermediary between India and the Western world. And the Western world was not very advanced, and they were just coming off the dark ages after going through a very tumultuous time in their own history. So India and China were the largest economies. Around 1820, 1825, something changed, and that was the rise of the machines. Because till then, if you have a large population, you harness animal power, you could create very rich countries. And these were relatively peaceful countries compared to Europe and any other country, even though we had Genghis Khan and others in Central Asia. When the machines started coming, for the first time human beings were able to harness the kinetic energy in coal to boil water and use steam to drive machines. And that meant you could expand production, have factories, you could make sure there was consistency in quality, you could make sure that quantity could be done rapidly, and the cost of production could come down. And Great Britain at that point of time was exploiting the Indian subcontinent because of internal challenges in India. So raw materials went out from India, particularly cotton, and then this was used to create textiles in the factories in Manchester, and these textiles were exported back to India, and the local Indian industry was destroyed. When the British came, the province of Bengal was the richest province in the world. Enormous amount of wealth accumulated here. We have seen a book by Will Durant, which for the case for India, which says that between 1850 and 1930, the British took away $400 billion of wealth. In 1930, money from India to create the Industrial Revolution and to build a global empire. And this drain of wealth from India left India a very impoverished, poor country by the time we got our freedom. The rise of machines led to the rise of Europe. We saw the rise of Great Britain, colonization. We saw the rise of Germany. We saw the rise of the United States. And because the great powers in Europe were rising, and they were jockeying for power and colonization in other parts, that also led to the first Great War. The First World War starting in 1914, ending in 1918, 1919. When the war started due to an anarchist shooting or killing, assassinating Archduke Ferdinand, the heir apparent of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, the world was a very different place. Russia was ruled by the Tsars for 600 years. There's the Austrian-Hungarian Empire in the middle of Europe, which has been around for 600 years. The French had become a republic, even though they had an emperor. Great Britain was a colonizing power. America was an ascending power. And in the Middle East, there was the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans came into power in the 13th century by driving out the Eastern Roman Empire and taking over Constantinople. They were the center of the Islamic world, and the Sultan in Constantinople or Istanbul was the Caliph of the Muslim world. We've seen what happened when Baghdadi declared himself to the Caliph. He had the two holy places of the Islamic world, Mecca and Medina, in his control. And if you go to Topkapi today, the palace in Istanbul, you see some wonderful things. You see the saddle that Prophet Muhammad had when he rode his horses out into war. You see a letter written by Prophet Muhammad to the emperors of Europe, threatening to conquer them unless they converted to Islam. And you see the holy cloth which covered the Kaaba, which the Sultan sent on annual pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina for the Hajj every single year. So that is the world that ruled. The entire Middle East was ruled by them. In the East, of course, you had India, which was under the British with many, many kings. The British have subdued the local kings. And you go further east, Japan was the rising power. And then you had China, a 2,500-year-old empire, was crumbling under its own internal contradictions, driven by civil war and smarting after the Boxer Rebellion and the sacking of the Summer Palace in 1864. So it's a very strange world, very different world. It was the age of empires and kingdoms. When the war started in 1914, there was cavalry, there were foot soldiers and infantry. When the war ended, there were planes in the air, there were tanks on the ground, rudimentary tanks, and there was mustard gas and chemical warfare. When the war ended with the Treaty of Versailles in 1920, the world changed politically forever. And the repercussions of the end of the war, driven by the machine age, is what we see today. Russia had become a Soviet republic in 1917 with the Bolshevik Revolution. The Austrian-Hungarian Empire was gone with the emperor abdicating in 1919. Kaiser William had to step down, and Germany was in chaos. The French were defeated because, they had to fight the war and lose a lot of people. Great Britain was enfeebled. America entered the war in 1917 and built up her industrial power. And in the Middle East, the Ottomans were gone. The Sultan had to abdicate. Kemal Atatürk took over and had to fight to protect what is now Turkey. Sykes and Picot, a British and French diplomat, sat down in a warm afternoon with a cup of tea and drew up on the map all the countries that you see today. Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, they had Lebanon, they had Jordan, they had Syria, and Palestine. So all the small countries dividing the Ottoman Empire was driven on a piece of paper in the afternoon, and the problem that you have today, especially Palestine and Israel, goes back to that point of time. The Allies signed the Treaty of Versailles in 1920, asking Germany to pay 860 billion marks, Deutsche Marks, in reparations. And that led to high inflation in Germany, where people were impoverished because they had to have a wheelbarrow of currency to buy a loaf of bread. And that led to the Second World War in 1939 with the rise of Hitler in 1932. But in 1932 and 1939, Hitler industrialized Germany, created a war machine, used the power of the machine to create a war machine the world has not seen before. All this can be traced back to 1820, 1825, when the steam engine went off the patent and the age of machines started. So we had a war again in 1939. The 1914-18 war killed 16 million people. The war between 1939 and 1945 killed 60 million people. The Russians lost around 20 million people. And Hitler had conquered the whole of Europe in about 6 months' time. The German army advanced 50 kilometers a day using mechanized infantry, using the panzer tanks in the Blitzkrieg, and took over Paris, took over the whole of Europe with almost no opposition. Great Britain was enfeebled, and you see the movie Dunkirk, Hitler let them pass by, otherwise they would have been in deep trouble. The war led to the rise of the United States. Because of 1942, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, the US came into the war, and the world changed again by the time we come to 1945. Because the war started, the Poles had cavalry going against the German tanks. When the war ended, 2,500 rockets were fired into London by Hitler, and the Americans had dropped the atom bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and the world was in ruins. It was a very different place at that point of time. The world was tired of war. And what are the catalysts? It was the age of the machines, because the machines could create war and the destructive power of the machines could kill a whole lot of human beings. The post-war order started with the United Nations coming into being after the failure of the League of Nations. So after that, with the Marshall Plan, we saw the rise of Germany. We saw the Soviet Union create the Warsaw Pact and the Iron Curtain falling across Europe. We saw the rise of the United States, the greatest economic power, and we saw the decline of Great Britain as a colonial power. India got her freedom in 1947, and by the 60s, most of the colonies were gone, and China had got communist in 1949. Japan was in ruins. But after the war, Japan came up, Germany came up, Southeast Asia came up, China has now come up. So if you see the situation today politically, like Chairman Narendran said, China is the largest economy in the world with $23.3 trillion in PPP GDP. The United States is second with 19. India is number 3 with $9.4 trillion in PPP. And the world is changed again economically. And now we are seeing a rebalancing of power between the East and the West. By 2021, Asia will be the largest economy in the world again, and the Western powers, Europe and the United States, will become smaller. So we see in this 200 years how much has been the impact because of what the machines did over a period of time and the tremendous change that's happened. But in the last 15 years, there's been another disruption, and that's why we call this the age of disruption. The earlier era was the age of machines. We are in the age of disruption now because in the last 15 years, we've seen the rise of the internet. You may laugh and say, why the internet? What has disruption got to do with the rise of the internet? The current existing world order and the global supply chain is a result of the Industrial Revolution. Because today you have factories, the factories produce goods, the components come in and they assemble and they're shipped out through a global supply chain consisting of, let us say, ships, consisting of locomotives, consisting of roads, consisting of pipelines, through retail to wholesalers, to retailers, to bankers, to reach the ultimate consumers. So the global supply chain with parts happening all around the world. And now for the first time, a common platform has come technologically where people can interact asynchronously at a time of their choosing to do commerce, to get knowledge, to get information, to get entertainment, to do whatever they want. All they have to do is get connected by a smartphone and a cheap data plan. So 3.6 billion of the 7.6 billion people have a smartphone today. 6 billion people have a mobile connection. About 4.5 billion people are connected to the internet. And this process is accelerating, creating for the first time since civilization began a common platform on which people around the world can interact and to do business. And when the distance comes down, when the playing field becomes level, you see magic happening all around the world. And this expanse of technology is creating disruption in various industries. Look at the oil industry. The oil industry was a $6 trillion industry when oil was selling at $145 per barrel. The world consumes today 97 million barrels of oil a single day, 97 million barrels of oil a day. The OPEC is the largest exporter. But over the last 15 years, a new technology called fracking has come into being. When you drill for oil, you drill horizontally, vertically down, but in fracking, you drill vertically down and go horizontally to tap into small pools of oil and gas. And the small pools in oil and gas were not viable to be taken out. But now with fracking, you're able to do that. And the United States, which shut down exports in 1975, it was the largest exporter of oil in the world. It became rich because of oil. That's why the Texans were very rich at one point of time. And they shut it down in 1975 after the first oil shock globally, has now become the second largest producer of oil and gas at 10.35 million barrels a day, overtaking Saudi Arabia. The Russians are larger at around 11.5. In the next 1 year, America could become the largest producer of oil in the world. And fracking has caused the price of oil to come down to $60-65 a barrel, and $2 trillion of money which was going to producers has come down. And this is having repercussions in the Middle East. We're seeing in the Middle East that the Saudi Arabian reserves of $750 billion has now come to $500 billion. We're seeing in Saudi Arabia the rise of a young prince who wants to take Saudi Arabia out of the Wahhabist clutches into a modern republic or a modern country where women can drive on the streets, women don't have to wear the hijab, and opening up, because there's no other way he could run the country with the oil price remains so low, and the prince who wants to reform. We've seen Venezuela go down, we've seen Nigeria go down, we've seen the oil exporting countries' economy diminish as a result because of this huge expanse of oil production because of fracking. So geopolitically, the situation has changed all around the world because of this one innovation in technology. And in the utility industry, again, there's a tremendous change coming. The Industrial Revolution started with the burning of coal. You mined coal, you heated water, made into steam, and drove the machines. In July of last year, the United Kingdom, for the first time in 200 years, got 100% of the oil without burning a ton of coal. All alternate energy has become the biggest source of energy. Alternate energy is nuclear, is gas, is wind, and it is solar. Today in Europe, 17% of energy is alternate energy. By 2030, 30 to 40% of energy will be alternate energy. And in the last 3 years, more investment in the world has gone into alternate energy than traditional coal-based plants. Coal-based plants are on the way out. So we're going to see the rise of cheap energy driven by wind and driven by solar. In India, already we have 20,000 megawatts of solar energy, and the latest auctions have power at 2 rupee 45 paisa, much less than grid parity for the entire basket. And India will have 175,000 megawatts of alternate energy by 2022. We are about 60,000, including hydro at this point of time. And very soon, in maybe 10, 15 years, the major part of world energy will be by alternate energy. If alternate energy comes, there will be a reduction of 30% in oil demand. So oil will not be sold at 97 million barrels a day. Oil consumption is going to come down. And if oil consumption comes down, what happens to the Middle East again? What happened to the price again? So energy in the form of technology is disrupting because of solar and wind energy. And that's why in the United States, the utility industry is a cell. The largest company in Europe, E.ON, in energy, has been broken up into a transmission distribution company and alternate energy company with a coal-based generating company, and the alternate energy company has got a higher value. All around the world, the energy markets and the energy industry is getting getting disrupted in this major way. Look at automobiles. The world makes 90 million four-wheelers a year. It's a $2 trillion industry. 1 in 6 jobs is in the automobile industry. And in the automobile industry, we're getting electric cars. Electric cars have got 20 moving parts. An IC engine has got 2,000 moving parts. An electric car costs $1,500 to maintain a year. An IC engine costs $10,500 to maintain a year. Now, 1 million electric cars were made the last year. This year, there could be 1.5 million. And the Chinese say they'll make 7 million electric vehicles by 2025. And by maybe 2030, 60 to 70% of the world's vehicles will be electric cars. And about 30% of world's oil is used in the car industry alone, 60% in transportation, but 30% in the car industry alone. If you have more and more electric cars, the cost of the vehicle will come down, the cost of fuel will come down, and that coupled with autonomous cars, that coupled with the sharing economy will mean that people no longer want to buy a car. You're going to have a time when you, on the app, on your cell phone, you call a car, the car will come to you and drive you by itself to a different place, and the car will be driven by solar energy. You'll have a panel on your house where the sun's energy will be converted into electrical energy to the extent of 24%, right now is 18%. It will be stored in batteries on your wall. You plug in a car, and that energy can take you for 300 kilometers. In the night, the car comes back, and you plug it into your house, and the house will be lit up. You get all energy in your house through the storage of the sun's energy in the car. So you could be off the grid. You could be off the grid. You may not require power coming from the switch and power coming from generating plants. There will still be peaking power required because of industry and other places, but a major part of household and other power will be through electric cars. When the electric car industry comes up, the cars could go on for 500,000 kilometers. To an IC engine, you have to change at 150,000 kilometers. Tesla's cars working as a taxi already gone to 500,000 kilometers. 90% of the time, the car is parked and not used globally around the world. So if people stop buying lesser cars, they use electric cars, and you have the sharing economy like Ola and Uber, the number of cars come down. 10% of real estate in America is because of parking. So real estate industry may come down, the parking requirement will be very less, and energy requirements will be very less, and with sharing economy, the number of cars too can come down, and cars can drive by themselves. Just last week, we had the first casualty of a driverless car. A person was killed in Arizona or some other place like that because the car was driving by itself and ran over somebody. Now the insurance industry, which is dependent upon the automobiles, and the repair industry, the distribution industry is going to change. And this is happening faster than we think. Now look at manufacturing. Manufacturing creates another 1 in 6 jobs around the world. Manufacturing historically has been what is called reductive manufacturing. What do? You go mine a piece of ore, you melt the ore in Tata Steel, you make steel bars, you make steel plates, you make all steel components, and then you assemble together to make a machine. Now with 3D printing, you can go to the PC and design a car and press a button, and the car will be printed out next door using metal powder or plastic powder in 24 hours. So you could have a bespoke car. If you want a car, you log in, go to a designer in Bangalore, he'll design a car to your requirements. And from that, you can design it. Today, we have had rocket engines done by 3D printing. You have had racing cars made by 3D printing. Your houses made by 3D printing. And you also had much components made by 3D printing. 3% of world's manufacturing today is by 3D printing. By 2030, 30% of world's manufacturing could go on to 3D printing. And 3D printing means distributed manufacturing as against centralized manufacturing. We are in what is called Industry 4.0 today. Industry 1.0 was Industrial Revolution. Industry 2.0 was Force Assembly Line. Industry 3.0 was the PLC machines. Now Industry 4.0 is about IoT and robotics and self-driving cars and autonomous cars and everything using IT. It basically means that the existing distribution network for car selling may disappear over a period of time because you could order cars very directly. So the auto industry is getting disrupted. The manufacturing industry is getting disrupted because of new advances. And by metal powder, you do away with many of the things that you wanted in the terms of the global supply chain. Now look at the life science industry. What is the greatest asset human beings have? Our life. All of us want to live. Some people dream of a benevolent dictator. But a dictator can never be benevolent because it's only when there's a rule of law, the most important asset that you have, your life, is protected. A dictator will not protect your life and liberty, however good he may be, however generous he may be. So, when you have mortality as a fact, people want to elongate their lives. Today with stem cell research, you can regenerate body organs. Part of the liver can be regenerated, part of the heart can be regenerated, your limbs can be regenerated, and maybe your, bones can be regenerated using stem cells. Because stem cells are unformed cells which happen when a baby is being made in the womb. And stem cells are still there in your bone marrow and in parts of your body. And these stem cells can be injected into damaged body parts to regenerate. And stem cell research has gone ahead, much ahead, and people are beginning to see some results. In labs, people who have been paralyzed have regrown the spinal cord. And that, I think, is a great advancement. And then you're having robotic surgery. How did surgery happen? You went to a doctor, he felt you all over, he cut you open, the blood came out, you cut your body parts, put it together, left something inside, and hopefully did not, and then let you go. It took you maybe a month to recuperate. Today you do a 3D scanning of the entire body, find out what is wrong, make a small incision, and the robot goes inside and stitches up or cuts something and puts you back, and you go home in the evening. So the surgeon becomes a computer operator because he has to see the 3D image and he has to put in the parameters to work at it, and with AI, the machine is getting smarter and smarter. So surgery is changing in a substantial way with costs coming down, faster recovery, etc. And then you got DNA bespoke medicine. 30% of the chemical compound does not agree with the DNA of people. So medicine is not working for 100% of people. Today we can take a piece of a DNA and use it to find out what is wrong with you and create a designer drug by chemical compounds to give you the drug which your DNA requires. So DNA medicine is an advance that is coming in a very significant way to disrupt the entire pharma industry in a very significant way. And then cancer. Cancer is unregulated growth of cells. Your cells become malignant and they grow. But then, what is the trigger that happens to your DNA to make a cancer go? Big data And biosimulation is creating a process by which you can find out what triggers and then use the same mechanism to trigger good cells to fight the bad cells. That is cell engineering. And then you can make designer babies. In the United States, in labs, they have a lamb in a womb. They create an artificial womb, put a lamb there for 2 months, and the lamb was grown. So possibly you can use a human embryo in a petri dish and grow the human embryo in a way that you want. In California, in a company called Council, you can do a DNA test between 2 people who want to make a baby. So before making a baby, the male and the female have the DNA tested to see whether there is going to be any genetic disorder. So before making the baby, you know the baby will have a genetic disorder, and you can avoid making the baby or have a surrogate mother or do something that you want. And that advance is going far ahead. So even in the case, and then aging, how do people age? At the age of 30, I'm told, the body cells stop reproducing in the same manner as they did before 30. It's extraordinary. That's why you see, when cricketers play past 30, they slowly degenerate. Dravid went to Australia in his last tour, I think 4 years ago, was bowled 4 times between bat and ball. Before then, he's never been bowled 4 times in any series. That's because cricket is a game of eye, hand, leg coordination. And the fast bowler bowls, if you're a trifle slow, you get bowled. And when Sehwag used to bat against Shoaib Akhtar at 100 miles an hour and put his bat out, he could hit the ball to, third man and get a 6. In the end, he was pushing his ball and the bat never met. And you could see Shoaib Akhtar in the last days coming and bowling, and he thought he was bowling fast, but they hit him for a 6 over his head. We saw Kapil Dev coming and trending. We saw Sachin Tendulkar cutting at a point just to see the ball go to slip for a catch. Why is that happening? Because the eye-leg coordination comes down with aging. So you age gradually. What makes you age at 30? You can find out what are the DNA changes by biosimulation. You can postpone aging to 50, and then you see what happens. So you can prolong life. Today, a child in the United States will live up to 100 years. And people say that you could live up to 120 years. And then the ultimate frontier of research, brain research. How does a brain work? You've got 80 billion neurons. The neurons have got synapses. They connect with each other to weak electrical impulses. The brain activity takes place to weak electrical impulses. Everything that we see and do is because of brain activity. If I see somebody, I get that image, the image is processed in my brain and it's matched with my memory, so I know he's my relative. But in Alzheimer's disease, you take the image, it is processed, you can't match it memory, and you don't recognize people. So it's all in the brain. And how does the brain work? Weak electrical impulses and chemical reaction of storage. It's an enormous hard disk with capacity. Now people have found in the mice that you can push weak electrical impulse and make muscles of the mice twitch. So brain research is going on in the way to find out, can you push these impulses and make the human being behave in a big way? And that's actually happening in a different way because of Cambridge Analytica and all the fake news for the elections. I'll explain about that. So life sciences is going through another kind of disruption in a very big way. In another 5 to 6 years, we're going to see results. Education. We are in the midst of Education 3.0. Education 1.0 is the Gurukul and the Academy of Greece. Education 2.0, the industrial era education system, where there was a professor, he's read all the books, there were students who came there was a course, there was a content, there was an examination, he spoke, they wrote down, they write an exam, you get a piece of paper like you're going to get, and you get a job. Right? It's one to many. Now, the accumulated knowledge of humankind is on the web. The best lectures, the best professors is on the web. There are flipped classrooms. There are tutorials. There are quizzes. There are assessment. You can do anything. And there are MOOCs. And just now the MOOCs are beginning to give degrees. When the MOOCs give degrees and they assess the content from various universities, you can have a designer degree. Why can't you have a degree with nuclear science, biotechnology, logic and music and accounting and chemistry taken together? Why can't you have a degree with all subjects? Because institutions cannot give the degree. They don't have the faculty, they don't have the ability to give you a designer degree. Now, if the courses of the MOOCs are certified, you can go to various universities, take a course. Go to Harvard and take a course in government policy. Go to Stanford, take a course in computer science. And go to Delhi University and take a course in sociology or Marxism or whatever they teach in Delhi or JNU. And go to IIT and take a course in some other course. You collect all of them, get the credits, go to a virtual university, give all of them, and you get a degree. Now, will employers hire you? Employees will hire you. Why will they hire you? Because they want you to the left brain and the right brain. They want creative people and the logical people. And they're going to give you a test anyway. So what is the value of the degree? So more and more people are going because the cost of education is very high. In the United States, student debt is $1.5 trillion. It costs you $250,000, $300,000 to do a degree course in the Ivy League colleges for most students. So the return on investment is not there. So people may go for education 3.0 where it could be disrupted. The financial service industry has got disrupted. Banks are shrinking. Now, the payment system in the banking system is what kept the banks together under regulations. So the asset side of the balance sheet, where you give out loans, is getting disrupted by startups who can give you a loan in 30 minutes by looking at your Aadhaar in India, doing a credit score and giving a loan. On the liability side, the investment option is also getting disrupted. On the stock market, 40% of trading is by algorithmic trading. And the stock market, robo-finance is come. A robo will talk to you and give you your financial services. If you want a housing loan, you go to a robo and tell them, I want a loan for 25 years with a payment structure like this. The robo will go to all the housing finance companies, negotiate and give you a quote, and you get a housing loan. You don't have to talk to anybody. So chatbots and robots will come and give all the banking loans, and that's why banks are shrunk. In India, in the last 15 years, banks' balance sheet have grown up 10 to 12 times. Employment has grown up 5%. 5%. State Bank of India had 2,72,000 employees and odd. After the merger, they had 2,70,000 employees 15 years ago. They were 1/10 the size of the balance sheet that they have now. So in India too is happening. So banking is coming down. There's $8 trillion of interest-free government debt today. In the last maybe 7 years, $15 trillion of money has been pumped into the economy by central banks by printing currency. The Abbas is liquidity. And because the liquidity, money is cheap, you take the money, invest into startups and invest into many innovating companies. The cycle of innovation, 36 months, comes down to 24 months, comes down to 18 months, and innovation cycles become faster and faster. So financial services is also become disrupted. So what is the result of all this? On top of it, you have IT changing everything. With cloud computing, you have almost unlimited processing power. With cloud computing, you can take enormous amount of data, put it on the cloud, run an algorithm, AI algorithm, to understand patterns and come out with solutions. An AI algorithm has beaten the best chess player in the world, beaten the best Go player in the world. It can do the most complex transaction. And the computer, which is pretty fast and having huge capacity, works 24/7. It works 24/7 without stopping. Now we got what is called quantum computing. Quantum computing is 20 times faster in processing than ordinary computers because they can do in parallel. 0 and 1 can be processed in parallel at an exponential pace. When quantum computing comes into being in the next 2 or 3 years, the power of computing will go by a huge number of times, 20x, 30x, and things are going to become cheaper. So you can break the biggest cryptographic codes in the world in the next 2 or 3 years. And the power of computing, artificial intelligence and robotics is changing the way manufacturing and all process is done. And robots are taking over. For example, in China, a friend of mine went to a factory, 1 kilometer deep by half a kilometer. It was dark. So he asked them, are you closed? They said, no, we're not closed, you're working. But where are the people? There are no people. It's all robots, it's fully automated. At the end of it, something comes out. They have somebody to put into a lorry which takes it away. If something goes wrong, a red light comes, they work on the PC and check it up or go fix something and it works. Adidas took away a shoe factory to Germany which is fully automated by robots. Foxconn replaced 50,000 young Chinese girls because they're the largest company with 1.1 million employees doing the iPhone because they asked for a raise. You asked for a raise? And they said 500,000 young girls will be replaced by robots in Foxconn because they're asking for a raise. Because labor costs in China have gone up. And if you go to an auto plant today, there are robots. We went to the Tesla plant, fully automated with robots. There's some human beings doing some parts because of other reasons. So robots are coming and taking over manufacturing in a very big way. Today, from Nevada, they fried the drones to Waziristan to blast all the jihadi terrorists. So you can see by satellite imagery, by telecommunication links, get the chatter and do everything else. And the heart of it, we are seeing these huge digital monopolies come up like Google and Facebook. Google knows more about you, more about your persona than anybody in the world. And tomorrow when you go search into Google, Google can send an algorithm to push what they want. and what they want is the information they want you to read. So they're trying to control your mind. Cambridge Analytica worked with Facebook to get all the data to find out psychometric patterns and push people, because all of us are emotionally vulnerable. We have our weaknesses, and they're pushing information, the weakness, to change your mind. So the battle now in big companies is for the control of the human mind, and that's why democracy is also under peril. And all this is happening driven by the power of computing in the age of disruption. And when this all happens by 2030, what are we going to see? 2030, we're going to see alternate energy being 30-35% of the world. We're going to see electric cars being the major form of vehicles. We're going to see autonomous cars driving by themselves. We're going to see robotic manufacture take over. We're going to see financial services driven by algorithms all over. Stock market trading driven by algorithms. We're going to see human beings who can live up to 120 and regenerate body organs. And we're going to see education, which is going to be thoroughly changed. And into that world, all of you are going. I'm not finished. Now, the theme of my talk was leadership in the age of disruption. What should you do? I was in Presidency University in the heart of the Red District in Calcutta giving a lecture at the 200th year. I spoke about the age of disruption, and a young girl stood up and told me, "Father, you must forgive me for this. Sir, what is going to happen to the poor child, poor girl from rural Bengal who's going to come to college?" I said, "Why don't you take care of yourself? Make sure you're part of the 1% who will do very well." I'm sorry, Father. I know you are for the 99%, but I have to give them some advice because they're going to face a brutal world in the hope they'll succeed and do something for the balanced 99% because you're going to be leaders. To succeed in the age of disruption, you have to take certain steps. One, you have to have a problem-solving attitude. Life is all about using the left brain and the right brain. Life is all about identifying problems and crafting solutions. And that is what an MBA course, a business management course is. So you have to develop problem-solving solutions. Second, you've got to re-architect organizational structures. Organized structures have become rigid. Organizations are not agile. They're not able to respond to fast-paced change and to innovation. When the pace of innovation goes up, organized structures have to be restructured. That means organized structures have to become smaller. They have to be more responsive. They have to be knowledge organizations who take input and respond to the marketplace, because competition intensity is going to get by tremendously. Third, you have to get the right set of people to manage. The right set of people will be a mix of very specialists and generalists who are going to be strategists who can enable the business environment, assimilate and understand and do something to meet the challenges, and specialists who may be available in the market in the gig economy. I'm sure you heard of the gig economy, where people want to work as individual performers, don't want to join the organization, who may come and work for a limited period of time and go away, but they'll be available for you. By having the right kind of structure, not getting married to any organization, by recycling capital and treating business as just more asset that can be sold and purchased depending on who you want. Hopefully the insurance companies will be there to take care of everything else. You should be able to restructure the enterprise, restructure your work to find out the places and the imperfection in the system and competition intensity takes place, and to succeed. So leadership depends upon problem-solving attitude, your ability to craft great strategies, your ability to reorient and re-architect organizational structures, your ability to get the people in best-in-class who can perform and work, and the ability to be right place, right time, using the right capital and performing. Does it mean that everybody is going to fail? No. But the reward for performance is going to be outsized. You know, Elon Musk has got to negotiate a pay if he succeeds something of billions of dollars. Right? Because if you create disruption, the value will be there. Raghuram Rajan wrote an interesting book, and the book title was Saving Capitalism from Capitalists. And the thesis was very simple. There's innovation. Innovators become dominating places. The innovators then capture the regulators. Regulators don't change the regulations, and the challenges are kept away. So we are seeing the same thing today. Once you become bigger, you capture the regulators, because regulators are set up to make sure the markets are open. And then you create barriers. And that's why he said we must save capitalism from capitalists by creating regulatory structure which are responsive to innovation. So you've got to be those innovators, because cycles of innovation is there. The world is awash in capital. The world is awash in savings. So capital is going to move, and the disparity between the 1%, 99% is going to widen. And there, Father, all the values that you taught us of compassion, taking care of society are very vital, because if this raw energy and the raw talent these people have, leverage the power of technology, can create great disparity, there's going to be great trouble. I just want to end by saying how this is impacting societies. In the United States, for the last 15 years, the middle class has not seen its income go up. In the United States, the last 15 years before Trump, governments were left of center. They told everybody, globalization is good for you, open trade is good for you, immigration is good for you. It is only good for China. China came up and built an economy of $23 trillion in PPP. America lost out, Europe lost out. Europe is still around because of social security and the social compact. In America, income has not gone up. And then Hillary Clinton goes to the American people and say, vote for me, I'm going to have open immigration, I'm going to have open trade. And then when somebody protests, you say, you're all deplorables. A leader cannot tell the people who vote for you that you're deplorables, and Trump comes and says, I'm going to make America great. I'm going to create a wall in Mexico. I'm going to have trade barriers. I'm going to get the job back. And they say, yeah, and Trump comes to power. Why is it? It's the disruption caused to society by automation. 15 million jobs have disappeared because of automation in the United States. Middle class income has not gone up. People are scared of the children who are now going to get jobs. And that's going to be a major challenge there. So America has gone conservative. UK has gone Brexit. Germany has gone to the right. Merkel is in trouble. India has gone to the right. Make in India. We want to make India great. Xi is come in China and says China will fight the battle to retain its power. Abbas is come. The world is under siege. The world is under change. And all this because of the age of automation, because of the age of disruption. So, I want to end here by saying, wishing you all the best, saying you're going to have a lot of fun, and may you have Godspeed, and may you succeed coming out of the gate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening address. As a token of appreciation, we request our chairman, Mr. T.V. Narendran, to hand over some mementos to Mr. Mohandas Pai. I now call upon Dr. Ashish K. Pani, the Dean Academics, to present the winners of academic excellence. I request Mr. Mohandas Pai to give away the medals.
XLRI medals 2017-18. For the best all-round student in memory of Parinit Reddy is awarded to Harshit Kumar Agarwal. For social initiatives sponsored by the State Bank of India is awarded to there are 6 people in the list. Kriti Tuteja, Sarthak Bose, Shivam Prasad, Shivani,
Sochi Singh, Uday Sharma, for the highest CQPI in Human Resource Management Program in memory of John P. DeCosta is awarded to Arunabha H. For second highest CQPI in Human Resource Management Program is awarded to Anamika. For highest CQPI in Business Management Program in memory of Ramamta Chachra is awarded to Ajit Kumar S. For the second highest CQPI in Business Management Program is sponsored by Janardhan Padya is awarded to Faijan Sarva. For the highest CQPI in General Management Program in memory of R.S. Pandey is awarded to Ajit Kumar. For the highest CQPI in Postgraduate Diploma in Business Management Evening Program, Base 1518, sponsored by Jagans, is awarded to Subrat Basak. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now call upon Father Jerry Kutina, SJ, the Dean, Administration and Finance, to announce the name of those receiving their medals for long service and request our Chairman, Mr. Narendran, to give away the medals.
Every year at the Convocation ceremony, we honor those who have rendered 25 and 15 years of service at XLRI. XLRI family appreciates and thanks them for their dedicated service and their contribution to the Institute. The following are the recipients of the Long Service Medal. 25 years of service, Mrs. Mangala Soy. Mrs. Poornima Bagh. "15 years of service, Professor M. Sriman Narayan. Professor Abbas Mahanti. Professor Pramod Kumar Padi. And Mr. Govinda Rao. Thank you.
I now call upon Dr. Ashish Pani to administer the pledge to the graduating students.
I request the faculty members to please rise. On the recommendation of the faculty, the governing body is pleased to confer the Fellow in Management on 10 students, the 2-year postgraduate diploma in Human Resource Management on 181 students, the 2-year postgraduate diploma in Business Management on 178 students, the 15 months postgraduate diploma in General Management on 116 students, the 3-year postgraduate diploma in Business Management evening program on 39 students. Faculty members, please sit down. Graduating students, please rise for the pledge and repeat after me as I read it. Pledge. We, the graduating student of XLRI, hereby pledge that empowered with knowledge and the quest for which shall never end, we aspire to be the responsible business leaders with integrity and honesty. We endorse the principles of responsible, ethical management and endeavor to work towards shaping the inclusive and sustainable global economy. We refrain from corruption, unfair competition, and business practices harmful to society. As socially responsible citizens, we commit ourselves to bring about equity and fairness to our organizations and our society at large. We pledge to uphold the values of XLRI and shall always strive to apply our knowledge for the betterment of our society and bring glory to our institute. Graduating students, please sit down.
I request the Dean Academics to present the fellow students and graduates for their diplomas.
Now I present the participants who have been approved to be conferred the title of Fellow in Management. Arijit Mitra. No, it's one person. Garima Saxena. It's fellow, and one. Anamal Benjamin Bara. S. Shiv Kumar. Srinivas Sriram Das. Arup Roy Chaudhary. Murli Krishnan C. Suryanarayan Gopal Krishnan Iyer. Subrat Sarangi. Amit Banerjee. Now I present the students who have qualified for the award of the 2-year postgraduate diploma in business management and human resource management. Dear graduating students of BM and HRM program, section A, please assemble in both aisles, HRM to my right and BM to my left, and come onto the stage to receive the diploma when your name is announced. I will be announcing the names of the first 5 rank holders in the order of merit. First rank, Anurava H. Ajit Kumar S. Second rank, Anamika Faijan Sarwar. Yes, both. Third rank in HRM are the 2 students, Megha Aswa and S. Anand, BM Harshit Kumar Agarwal. Anand Agarwal. P. Malini Rishi Singh. Now the other names of BM and HRM section A will be announced in the alphabetical order. May I request the audience not to upload the graduates individually, but to do so after the entire graduating batch 2018 receives the diploma. Thank you. Akriti Pandit, Adis Bansal. Avijit Gupta, Avijit Anand. Agrima Pokhriyal. Achyut Gupta, Aman Kamal Singh Rawat. Akshata Jagdish, Ambika Mohanty. Ambesh Talwar, Anirudh R. Kudwa. Anish Kumar Jha, Ankur Goel. Anisha Kar, Arpit Agarwal. Anusri N, Arushi Ahuja. Arghya Banerjee, Asutosh Munjal. Arushi Paliwal, B. Yaswant Kumar. Abhishek Migotia, Bhavna Munacha. B. Akhilesh Ghanshyam, Dhruv Vartwal. Bharati Mitraka, Dibyanshu Sharma. Chanchal Rathi, Gaurav Taneja. Chris Geophilip, Goenka Pius Naresh. Dennis Vedakot, Gurpreet Singh Shaini. Dibyansa Singh, Harshal Singh. Doshi Jinal Paresh Kumar, Jasmine Kaur. Elliot Stanley D'Souza, Javed Shahan. Jocelyn Fernandez. Harpreet Singh, Satish Mathur. Jesse Paul, Kunal Mahipal Singh. Shah. Kartikeya Chaturbedi, Little Jena. Khushbu Jain, Madhav Arora. Kulan Khilnani, Narasimha J. Lakshmi. Madhavi Mahajan, Nidhi C. Rao. M. Swatiranjan Suraj Kumar. Mainak Mukhoti, Nishant Chaudhary. Malavika Chauhan, Nitya Muralidharan. Ishita Hemant Kumar, Pratik Radhasyam Agarwal. Mohit Agarwal, Pulakit Agarwal. Purabi Mahanti. Nikhil Bama, Rahul Gokhale. Nishu Garg, Raviteja Chakka. Pranab Mahajan, Richa Gupta. Prashanti Balaji, Rishabh Sukla. Purbali Sarkar, Sahil Jain. Rajat Khaitan, Samishcha Verma. Ritu Gupta, Sanchit Jain. Ritesh Kumar, Saptorshi Mukherjee. Ria Paul, Sayan Ray Chaudhary. Sachi Verma, Sharodia Roy. Sai Bharat Kumar Shivula, Singhvi Gupta. Samir Sharma, Shivang Sharma. Sardol Vikram, Sriya Agarwal. Shivam Prasad, Subhendu Prakash Tiwari. Srinika Chopra, Srinkar Srirang Devdat. Sriya Gupta, Samitra Pandey. Sivin Sabbu, Siddhi Bangad, Sudhakar Joshi. Sonal Kanodia, Supriya Kisdoni. Srinivas Venkatesan, Suhang Singhal. Srishti Ranjan, Tedushi Priyadarshi. Shruti Sainath, Vibor Vargava. Suman Saha, Vikhyat Kansal. Swati Sharma, Brinda. Tejaswini Konda. Vaibhav Gupta. Vikas Kumar Singh. Jansin Jafar. Graduating students of BM and HRM Section B, please assemble both the aisles. Abhijit Panda, Aditya S. Ganguly. Abhishek Agarwal, Abhijoy Mustafi. Advait Kumar Raghuvanshi, Abhishek Panda. Akansa Paranjepe, Akankhya Pathak. Akshay G, Akshat Verma. Ankur Ramesh Desai, Amarnath Dikshit. Anunoy Tintin, Amog Agarwal. Anusa Garg, Ashish Agarwal. Arpita Setti, Amol Jain. Avantika Goyal, Anuman. Bhabuk Bajaj, Arpit Augustine. Busra Khan, Arusi Saxena. C.R. Jeevan, Atishay Jain. Bharat Ramesh, Devadrita Mukherjee, Bhumika Visnoi. Devendra Sachdeva, Dhruv Jindal. Dolly Rohira, Eshan Sailendra. Ishita Lath, Gautam Chaturvedi. Krishna Chaitanya, Harkaran Singh Bhatia. Kratika Tapadia, Kanikya Jai Silas. Vairavan Gautam, Karan Rathwani. Leston Reynard D'Souza, Kavita Upriti. Maris Valley Kaka, Satish Devgan. Mrigang Kumar, Laxdi Malkani. Mulay Malavika Makarand, Manish Pandey. Neha Arya, Neeraj Agarwal. Parul Jain, Nitansi Agarwal. Patel Manan Kumar, P.K. Siddharth. Pranav Pal Singh, Prabdeep Kaur Saluja. Pratishtha Gupta, Pratik Shingal. R. Kritika, Pritam Modi. Rajesh Ranjan Mahapatra, Rachit Pandey. Richa Arya, Raj Charodia D. Rohan Badkar, Rasmi Ramesh. Rubina De, Rikesh Bhattacharya. Saket Agarwal, Ruchi Negi. Shanya Bharadwaj, Sai Srimoy Shukla. Sarthak Bose, Sandesh M. Syed Adil Hussain, Satyajit Gaur. Sasank Pandey, Sip Singh. Sivank Bisnoi, Sakul Vakil. Shreya Chakrabarti, Sefali Seth. Shreya Jain. Snehi Pathak, Shivani Thakkar. Somil Nain, Shriya Agarwal. Sonam Pastaria, Shriya Srikant Kulkarni. Sriram Majiti, Shubham Bansal. Srishti Sharma. Subhasis Agarwal, Sonal Singh. Sumit Agarwal, Saurabh Bhattacharya. Tanvi, Shridhanshu Seth. Tushar Saraswat, Swesh Jaiswal. Trusti Vakla, Uday Sharma. Basudha Parameshwar, B. Srihari. Vipul Goyal, Mandita Joshi. Vibhor Gupta. Bimal Negi. Graduating students of BM and HRM Section C, please assemble to both the aisles. Avinab Garg, Akash Agarwal. Abhishek Shukla, Abhilash Samanta. Ahmed Bilal, Abhishek R. Setti. Akanksha Sharma, Akshit Soni. Ankit Gupta, Amber Kumar Maital. Anubhav Maharana, Ananya Narula. Anusha Rahinwal, Aniruddha Gongapadhyay. Arushi Agarwal. Ashish Bama, Anuja Patel. Ausi Gupta, Arnab Singh Best. C. Saileja, Arpreet Saxena. Chaitanya, Ayushi Dubey. Darpan Rajesh Shah, Deepak Mohta. Gautaman, Dinesh Bharadwaj. Harleen Kaur Dilan, Dibya Saroja. Ishan Dubey, Geet Agarwal. Iti Sharma. Anurag Champalal, Indrajit Dev Gupta. Karthik R. Jayesh Vidit Singh. Kabya Agarwal, Karthik Ramakrishnan. Kular Kansara, Kastu P. Sahelkar. Lindo KJ, Kriti Tuteja. Madhurima Bhattacharya, Kulkarni Nachiket Vijay. Mallika Raj, Kunal Chaudhary. Manu Sharma, Lokesh Prakash Surana. Monica Tukral, Abhinyas. M. Dipti, Neera Prasad Tipnis. Nidhi Nagpal, Nidesha Jose. Nikhil Srivastava, Nimish Bajpai. Nishant Jain, Nitika Arora. Preeti Kumari Jha, Parth Kotecha. Raghavendra Singh Gaur, Pratik Mahapatra. Rekha Chaudhary, Prithvi Sehgal. Richa Sundar, Raghav Rammohan Iswar. Rohit Narayanan SG, Rakesh Santapur. Ruchika Anit Asthana, Richa Gupta. Reshabh Chaudhary. Saket Kumar Tabriwal, Sai Sravani. Sanchit Nitin Telang, Samir Deepak. Bahulal Sahare. Sahjab Alam, Saurabh Suresh Chandra Karwa. Alok Bakul Bhai, Sahalka Birakar. Shivam Aditya, Sally Goel. Shivani, Shivam Garg. Sohel Talukdar, Shivani Kulkarni. Shreya Dugar, Sriram Srinivasan. Suchi Singh, Shubham Chaudhary. Snigdha Kakar, Sogat Tiwari. Somya Subramanyam, Saurabh Mukherjee. Soumyadev Banerjee, Shubhajit De. Srishti Yaduka, Suman Saurabh Giri. Tanmay Bakshi. Supratim Nandi, Udit Bansal. Surabhi Agarwal, Vijay Makar. Tanvi Talwar, Biresh Verma. Udit Singh, Vishakha Piplani. Utkar Srivastava, yes, bassist. Yogesh Premchand. Bipul Shah, Juvin Anwala. Now I present the students who have qualified for the award of 15 months postgraduate diploma in General Management 2016-17 batch. Dear graduating students, General Management Program Section AB, please assemble to both the aisles, Section A to my right and Section B to my left, and come onto the stage to receive the diploma when your name is announced. I will be announcing the names of the first 5 rank holders in the order of merit. First rank, Ajit Kumar. Second rank, Ashish Gupta. Third rank, Abhinav Dimri. Fourth rank, Sayan Sen. Fifth rank, Dinesh Kumar. Now the other names of GMP section NMB will be announced in the alphabetical order. Abhinandan Sahu, Abhinav Anand. Abhinav Sultania, Abhinav Sekhar. Abhishek Ganguly, Abhishek Das. Avinash Mishra, Abhishek Kumar. Akansa Singh, Ajendra Pal. Akash Gupta. Aniket Mukherjee. Anil Kumar, Anirban Mukherjee. Ankur Kumar Jain, Ankur Sehgal. Anuj J, Ansul Agarwal. Anshuman Parida, Anuj Gupta. Anuj Punia, Anup Sur. Ajit Pal, Aritra Roy. Ashish Kumar Singhania. Ajad Jalal Haidar, Bishwajit Chakraborty. Bimal Nandan Mishra, Amit Rajkamal. Charuj Yadav. Dipta R. Gopal Gopesh Harsh Sunil Shah. Harshal Banraj Namdev Harshit Chaudhary. Helen Nirmala Hetal Shah. Naga Uday Aditya. Kamaljit Kaur. Kusagra Mathur Manoj Jindal. Prashant Kumar. Manav Menon Megha Chaturvedi. Mayank Kumar Goyal, Sunil Kumar Srivastava. Nitish Kumar. Umar Ahmad Siddiqui. Parth Sharma Pradeep Mohandas. Rahul Kumar Rastogi. Rachit Arora Rajashree Sarkar. Rahul Bhatt Ravi Sri. Rituraj Rohit Kumar Singh. Sambit Kumar Das Sachin Gupta. Sandeep Komra Samir Sunil Rajpal. Sandeep Gumatya Sandeep Ranjan Wawal. Shashwat Kar. Saurabh Maharikar Saurabh Kumar Dwivedi. Saurabh Sarkar. Shubham Gautam. Shyam Sundar Punekar. Ronak Sudhir Siddharth Lunia. Saurabh Kumar Samyaranjan Mishra. Sumit Kumar Sudhir Kamath. Sumit Saxena. Suresh Banchal, Sunil Kumar Keswani. Tarun Shukla, Utkarsh Tiwari, Vidya Krishna Joyce, Basudev Sharma, Yogendra Anand, Vibhor Kumar Singh. Vikas Khurana, Vinakota Avnish, now I present the students who have qualified for the award of the 3-year evening postgraduate diploma in business management program in 2015-18 batch. I will be announcing names of the first 5 rank holders in the order of merit. First rank, Subrat Basak. Second rank, Abhinandan Singh. Third rank, Abhimanyu Kumar Singh. Fourth rank, Ananya Das. Fifth rank, Chirantan Bandapayadai. Now the other names will be announced in alphabetical order. Avinaba Ghosh, Abhishek Kumar, Amiya Dikshit, Anuj J. Jones, Aruna Bhattacharjee, Dhirendra Mani Tiwari, Kumar Gopal, Kumar Sitansu, Kumar Vaibhav, Kundan, Kush Kumar, Manjas Jha, Neelam Jha, Pankaj Kumar, again Pankaj Kumar, Prem Shankar Jha, Punnachandra Samantray, R. Christopher Arul Raj, Raghav Ajmani, Rajan Kumar Upadhyay, Rakesh Kumar, Rakesh Mahapatra, Ranveer Maulik, Rituraj Ghosh, Sabbas Naveen Kishore Fernando, Sachin Kumar Jha, Saras Agarwal, Saurabh Sinha, Sakil Hussain, Subruto Sadhu, Sudipto Chatterjee, Suman Mandal, Sushant Kumar, all graduating students, please rise.
I have to, yeah.
Besides the candidate who are present here, there are others who have been found qualified for the award of the fellow or diploma as the case may be, but could not attend the convocation. I now request the chairman, Mr. Narendran, to confer on behalf of the Board of Governors of XLRI, the Fellow in Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Human Resource Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Business Management, Postgraduate Diploma in General Management, or Postgraduate Diploma in Business Management Evening Program, as the case may be, on these candidates who are present and others who are absent in absentia.
By the authority vested in me as the chairman of the Board of Governors of XLRI, I award you the Fellow in Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Human Resource Management, Postgraduate Diploma in Business Management, Postgraduate Diploma in General Management, and Postgraduate Diploma in Business Management Evening Program, as the case may be, and I charge that by thought, word, and deed, you prove yourself worthy of the award.
Let us applaud the graduating batch of 2018. On behalf of XLRI community, I wish all the graduating students a successful and glorious career. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the 62nd Annual Convocation of XLRI is adjourned.
Please remain standing till the academic procession leaves the auditorium.